Hi, I'm Kenisha. I talk about all things travel, week visa, week passport to get in a visa, your first big visa, things of that nature. If you're from the global south and you're looking to live a more international life with opportunities and strategies, then you'll want to follow because that is the entire premise of this channel, and I'm excited to get into it because today we're talking about regional mobility hubs, or in other words, basically your first jump off point if you're traveling for the first time and you want to be somewhere that is more friendly to foreigners or to people coming in for the first time, to tourists and things like that. I have regions for different. I have countries for different regions, several countries for different regions, and we'll get into it right now. Since I'm Jamaican, and this was actually my first country that I went to, and it was a great experience, I'll start off with the Latin American and Caribbean region. This my first country was Panama, and it was such an experience. Yes, they use the US dollar. Super easy in the Caribbean to get to, but also of importance, it's a great point to North America, to South America, and even to Europe. Panama City is well connected. They're very friendly to other countries in terms of visa free travel. So that was my reason for going there first. It wasn't an expensive trip coming from Jamaica, and I would continue to recommend Panama um, because I had a good experience. I didn't feel unsafe. I think they have a pretty stable governance, so I continue to recommend them. In other places in Latin America, I would also recommend. This was my second country, so maybe I'm a bit biased here, but very helpful. Was Mexico, or is Mexico? Mexico City in particular, super well connected, and also not difficult to get a visa if you need one, or and also visa free for a lot of countries. A great point for Europe again, South America, and North America. A very good central point. For Latin America as well, I'll include one more, and I'll say Colombia. I've never been, but it is a huge point, especially Medellin. It's a huge point for a lot of people exploring South America for the first time. The reason why I didn't put it in the first and second options in this region is because I feel there's still, you know, some things with Colombia, um, but I feel Panama and Mexico, especially Mexico City and Panama City, are way more connected to other parts of the world, in my opinion. The next region that I'm going to talk about is Africa, and there are three countries here. I've been to two of them that I would recommend. The first one will be this one I haven't been to, but I am very excited to go at some point, is Rwanda. They have a lot of visa free travel or visa on arrival for a lot of countries. It's a great stopping point for like your first country you'd like to go to outside of those big visa countries, or countries that are more scrutinizing. And the reason why I bring up even the regional hubs in the first place is because what you need, I've pointed this out in other videos, is what you need is reputation. Build your reputation and compound on it when you want to live an international life. And it starts off with determining the first country you choose to go to, and that's where these all line up in. So I would choose Rwanda. Also, in talking about Rwanda, they have a growing tech and conference scene. And in relation to the region, they're pretty stable in a lot of, yeah, they're pretty stable. Another country in the region, in this actually East African region, one of my favorites is Kenya. Nairobi in particular, um, easy access for e visa, super easy. They're opening their country more and more. Um, Nairobi, in particular, has a huge startup scene. Um, Nairobi is one of those places you see everyone in a cafe on a laptop because everyone's working. It's a big hustle city. It's super inspiring that way. I absolutely love Nairobi and I can't wait to go back. And I think it's a great jump off point as well for your first country or your first place to be. Also, Nairobi, super connected to Asia, Middle East, parts of Europe. So I would also recommend that as a good jump off point, just off of those as well. The last one in this region of Africa is South Africa. And they have a lot of visa free entry for a lot of countries as well. And they're very connected to South America, um, somewhat to Europe. But it's a good stopping point, a good point to start off in Africa, especially like South in Cape Town. I love it there. Obviously, there are other parts that you can explore. South African cuisine, amazing, delicious. But yeah, it's a good point to surprisingly South America, especially like Brazil. There's actually a lot of Brazilians that I've noted that have visited South Africa, especially Cape Town. The next one is Southeast Asia, and this is one of my favorite regions. We'll talk about three countries in this region that are super accessible. The borders, they're more welcoming. So, yeah, first we'll start off with where I am right now, Thailand. um, they have a huge digital nomad scene, lots of opportunity to connect with different people and network. This is such underrated. Well, I think a lot of people know about Bangkok, but it is such a connected city. There's so much to do here. Boredom is not an option in Bangkok, and there's so much to see in Thailand in general, connected to the rest of Asia, East Asia. Can't go wrong. Another option is Malaysia, and they offer visa-free travel for a lot of people as well. Also super well connected, especially Kuala Lumpur. I absolutely love it there. Can't wait to go back. And I feel this area, there's a lot to do as well. A little more calm than say Bangkok, but it's a really nice place to be. Lots of different cultures, lots of different opportunities to connect and network with different people. And finally, Singapore. I mentioned this last because it's super expensive there. That's very well known about Singapore, but super well connected, super easy to get to, and it's a good like stopping point if you're looking for somewhere to bounce off of to go somewhere else. And that's something from about this video as well, is if you're looking for visa-free travel to different regions, it's knowing where to go through if you don't have certain visas. That is underrated. A lot of people don't know where to get through to different places without needing to go to get a visa to say US, Europe, UK, so this is what this video is really about. The next region is the Middle East. And I have two options here, and I'm pretty sure most people know about this one, but it's the UAE. Super well connected to Europe. Once you have a flight, you know, you have flight information, super easy to get a visa. So it's just one of those options that can get you from, if you're coming from certain parts of Africa, it's a good stopping point to get to, different parts of Asia that, might be a bit of a struggle. Or even if you're coming from the Caribbean, Latin America. So, yeah. And the next one, super easy as well, is Qatar. Also, like I said, well connected. And usually, once you have your information in order, getting a visa is very easy. It's online. Countries with e-visas, they just make things way easier. The final region that I'm going to talk about is Europe. And I'm including Turkey in this because even though part of it's also in Asia, a big part of it's also in Europe. and super easy to get a visa for Turkey, for a lot of countries. Amazing hub. Istanbul in particular, there are two airports there, and it's an amazing hub to get to other parts of Europe, to get to Asia, to get to Africa. It is so well connected and impressive hub. And the final country is Georgia. And I included Georgia as well because they're easy to get in terms of like visa and things like that. But it's also a stop off point if you're looking for somewhere to get to while you figure some other things out, if that makes sense. I'll let you determine what that means for you. I won't elaborate too much, but it's a country where you can get to and you can be there for a little bit if you need to in that European region. Yeah, so these are the regional mobility hubs for people like me and you if you're watching with a weak passport. And it's super helpful to have this information when doing research, because sometimes borders and border agents are not too friendly to people like who they automatically have suspicions about from certain countries once you carry certain passports. So these are helpful in, like I said, built-in reputation, global reputation, super important. So if you're interested in this type of content, stay tuned. Go to my website, Global Moves Network. There are a lot of opportunities on there for people like us with weaker passports. And yeah, thanks for watching. Subscribe.